State legislators and their staff have scores of people trying to get their attention, from helping constituents to ensuring that the laws they passed are enacted to figuring out how to get themselves reelected. In this whirlwind, how do you make sure you not only get their attention, but they understand your ask and you convince them to join your fight? On today's Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less, I'm going to show you the first half of the simple 1-2 punch that gets the legislators' attention, is memorable, and shows them your issue has the public's attention. Yes, you need press clippings and infographics. So today, we're just going to focus on press clippings. Now, first question is, what's a press clipping? Now, back in the day, like way back when, even before I got involved in politics, you would literally clip an article out of a newspaper or magazine, then make copies of it and pass it out to legislators. Or if you had a really big budget, you could even pay the magazine or newspaper to reprint that article just for you. Now, we can do this a lot cheaper and easier. Once you find a news story that supports your passion that you want to turn into a policy, all you need to do is copy the article, including the byline with a publication name and date, and format it in a document that you can print. Be sure to grab that URL so you can go back to it. Today, it's more of a copy and paste than a clip and copy of the old days, but it still does the job. And what is its job? What's the point of showing legislators press clippings? Now, press clippings show that people are interested in your issue. Think about it. There are only so many minutes in a news broadcast and only so many pages in a print paper. So if a story is important enough for the publishing companies to include, then that means they think people want to hear about it. And your legislators know this. They know that if the local paper or TV or radio news devotes the resources to a topic, then their audience, which is also who will vote for or against that legislator in the next election, is engaged on the issue. So if they want to keep their job, they need to pay attention. And this is important. Is the legislator paying attention to where your clipping comes from? I did a whole video on the media hierarchy, and we'll link that in the description. So you want to make sure you're pulling clippings from news sources that your target respects. I'm not going to pull a video from Fox News to show a Democrat, and I'm not going to take an article from the local African American paper in the city for a rural Republican. Also, the local paper for a legislator is going to have an outsized impact on that person, while that same small town paper won't sway a legislator from the other side of the state. But even after you've looked through all the media you can find, you've done all your Google searches, but what if I can't find anything? What if your issue hasn't garnered any press coverage yet? No worries. You can make your own press coverage. First, get your pitch ready with a good hook. Your pitch is asking the reporter or editor to do an article on your topic, and the hook is the idea that's going to get the reporter or editor's attention. Usually, this is going to be a local tie-in. How a local resident is impacted, what research from a local university shows, how some current event is tied into your topic. Basically, what is going to get the reader's attention and the reporters? If they like the idea, be prepared to give them more details and sources, reports on your topic, impacted folks they can interview, locations to see the issue firsthand that will make for good visuals. This is especially important for TV news. The easier you make their job, the more likely they are to cover your story. Now, while this works a lot of the time, it doesn't always work. So if this doesn't work, your next step is an op-ed or commentary. These aren't quite as powerful because they're opinion pieces, but they still show interest in your topic. And more importantly, this is something you can write and control the narrative. Talk to the editor to find out what they'll publish, both length and topic, and tailor your piece to their requirements. When you pitch your piece, be open to feedback. If they want you to include other impacted people or minimize or expand upon different topics, you shouldn't just walk away because it's not what you originally wrote. Think about their feedback. Does it strengthen or weaken your position? If it strengthens or is neutral, then definitely take their feedback so you can get it published. If it weakens it, explain this to the editor. If they agree, great. If they don't, then it's okay to walk away. You don't want to put your name or that of your organization on something you're not proud of, on something that won't advance your cause. And one last thing, if you provide quotes or present facts, be prepared to have sources. This can be a powerful option because you are the one crafting the narrative instead of relying on a reporter. This can also open the door for future coverage. Finally, there are letters to the editor, LTEs. These are less meaningful because there are more of them in each edition and they aren't as prominent in the paper. But as the old adage goes, any press is better than no press, so don't discount these. The paper is still taking the time to edit and publish your letter while it rejects other letters. This is a great place to start, and if it's all you have to show a legislator, it's still better than nothing, especially when you combine this with the infographics in your one-pagers and other leave-behinds. Think of how your issue connects with their readership and build your letter around that. Find out what length the paper publishes and craft your letter so it comes in under that word count. Editing for length can be the hardest part of writing, but you make sure your first draft is good, and then if it's over that word count, then you sharpen your arguments, take out anything tangential to your point so that every word is meaningful. And then once you get it down to an acceptable length, submit it. With a little work, you can use this first press clipping to get the attention of reporters, and soon you'll have a virtual folder full of great press coverage that you can pick and choose from to show legislators. Okay, that's it for press clippings. Next week, we'll dig into infographics, the other surefire way to get the attention of legislators and staff. So come back next week for another
Better advocacy in 10 minutes or less.